What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. So got the Silverado. A little chilly day, so I don't know how much I'm going to do to it today, but wanted to go over some simple stuff. There's a lot of people saying they don't do general maintenance to their vehicle, like you don't need to, or this or that or whatever. But look at this. See how good that coolant is, and you test it. You can buy acid strips and test the acidity level of your coolant to know if it's decent or it needs to be changed. I gotta change a bolt. There's a bolt that broke. I over tightened it and broke it, so I'll change that in another video. Should have an intake coming for this soon, hopefully. But what I don't understand is people complain about their engine wearing out or whatever, and then going online posting about it. Oh, I can't believe my engine. Look, you know, I'm going to do another video here soon. I changed my own oil, do my coolant when I can, and all other fluids this year. I might not be able to. Got a lot of other stuff going on, so a lot of things I have to be concerned about and deal with. It's just life, and it has to be dealt with. But I still check my oil. Thankfully, this is why I like this truck. 6-speed transmission fluid. I've changed it before the severe service, which is $30,000 on most vehicles. Got some other upgrades I'm looking to do when I can afford them, but I checked my fuses. I'll do another video hopefully soon when I can get a chance to do that on an easier way to check your fuses. Check all my bolts, check all my wheel bearings, my headlights, all my lights, tires. They're going to be in need of replacing before too long, just so I can get something for these guys. Exhaust, but I check my wheel bearings and my ball joints and my tie rods. If this guy comes off going 60 miles an hour down the road, it's not just going to be devastating for me, it's going to be devastating for other people possibly. You know, if my engine blows up, that's going to be devastating financially, because that can be up to $7,000, $10,000 depending on where you live and who you trust to do the work and what you can find and labor and all that. Because I just don't have time. I don't have enough experience doing it. I've done it, helped people do it before. I haven't done it myself enough to be comfortable with doing it. I'm going to be honest with you. You know, I do preventive maintenance on most stuff on big trucks and do stuff on bigger trucks with other guys. You know, we have a big team, so it's different. And they're not trucks that are used interstate very much, so you know, you don't have the wear and tear you normally have on like tractor trailers that haul loads and stuff. But there's other maintenances, air brakes and stuff like that. But you know, just simply changing your oil, changing your air filter, changing your coolant when you're supposed to, checking your battery voltage when you're supposed to, changing a serpentine belt, changing an alternator when it needs to be changed, understanding when it needs to be changed, how to check to change it and all, changing your brake fluid, just adding washer fluid so your washer nozzles and lines don't get clogged, checking your mass airflow, cleaning your mass airflow sensor, cleaning your oxygen sensors. You know, this is electronic power steering, so you can't really service it or grease it or anything like in the past. You could grease the shafts and everything else. Just not the case on this truck. On the heavy duties, I'm sure you still can. I don't know. On the Duramax that I'm hopefully going to be having soon, you can do that. Checking your PCV lines, listening for any noises, hisses. You hear a hiss, you might have an intake gasket leak or a vacuum leak. These can go bad. They're rubber. They're rubber and plastic. They do fail. These PCV lines can go bad. They're braided rubber, but they can still fail or be faulty. Noticing any wiring. This wiring harness has looked like this since day one. It's a little dirty under here, but when it's clean, you don't see any oil leaks. You don't see any oil leaks on the ground. Now I've got one under here because I spilled some oil when I was filling it last time. When it gets warm enough, I'm going to pressure wash the driveway. That'll be gone. I cleaned it up and all, but it can still leave a stain because it rained the next day and it just messed it up. So yeah, I had the AC condenser changed in this. It's a pain in the butt, and the Freon is expensive. But now my air conditioner is going to work fine, and it's an updated version of the condenser that doesn't fail, so it should be okay for at least another 70, 100,000 miles or more. The transmission, I'm going to do that again this summer. I'm going to drop the pan and show you guys how to do that, torque it, and how many quarts goes in. But if your oil is light brown or getting a darker brown, you might want to keep an eye on it. Check the oil level. Is it full? Is it in the middle? Is it between the hash marks? Is it, overfilled? Is it underfilled? Is it low on oil? On this truck I have a skid plate. Take the skid plate off. It's a few bolts. You run them off, you check it. There's no oil leaks. There's still somewhere I spilled last time. I'll clean that up this summer because truck's going to get pressure washed and all that this summer. The weather has just been not very helpful and kind lately. It is what it is. I know the oil pressure is fine. All the parameters are okay. But the transmission fluid, if it's clear or red and pink, you're fine. You're going to be okay. If it's light brown, better change it. If it's black, you're done. You're toast. So changing it, yeah, lifetime transmission fluid. That's because they're expecting the life of the transmission to last 250,000 miles in most cases. This truck had an issue with torque converters overheating. There is a valve, I'll show you in another video, on this transmission, a thermostat, an actual thermostat that controls the temperature of it. So I'll go over that in another video. I've gone over it before. But just doing simple stuff can prevent a lot of issues. Now, yes, lifters and all that, I've had this tuned out. I had a range AFM disabler when I first bought the truck. I used that until I got my Diablo Sport Trinity T2EX tuner and had it custom tuned and had it tuned out, which you can turn it off, disable it through the CAN tunes anyway on the switches module version of it, and I'll show you how to do that in another video. The range worked perfectly, or you can put it in manual mode and put it in M5 and it won't activate the active fuel management. The two best ways I've seen that you can prevent those failures, number one is having it tuned or turned off so it doesn't do it from the start, because everything I've read and seen, 90% of them or more fail from the early onset of it and the early parts of it. There's many millions of trucks with these engines running 200,000 miles plus. You just hear about the bad ones and the failures. Most of the time people are going too long on their oil change intervals, and they're not keeping an eye on their oil and the quality of it. They're letting it degrade. The lifters do not like, even GM says this, everybody said it, every mechanic I've ever heard or watched or seen or talked to has said it. They don't like low quality oil. You cannot go long on these trucks with AFM and all. And guess what? Now Ford, Dodge, all of them have it, some variant of this technology. It's stupid. It drives me bonkers. Instead of just they're trying to fix problems that weren't even there. And the emissions thing is bogus. It's not helping emissions. So you can think what you want. You can believe the government. I don't care. They're full of shit. If you don't like it, don't like the fact that I don't like the EPA, I don't give a shit. I really don't. It's stupid. It's costing you and me and everyone else more money. It's making these vehicles more expensive, which the manufacturers don't care. They're going to get their money. And I'm unfortunately a GM loyalist. I will, if I end up getting another truck, I'm looking at it just for the channel as well. But it's going to have to be on my terms if I do it. And what I'm looking at, I'll probably always have a Chevy. I'm comfortable with them. And one thing I can say about all the Chevys I've had, they've never left me on the side of the road. Now, I do the preventive maintenance, so that helps. But it doesn't mean you can't get a truck with bad parts internally, or a bad engine, or a bad transmission. It can happen to anybody. It could happen to this one. This one could blow up tomorrow. I hope not, but it could. You just figure out what to do. I mean, there's nothing else I can do. It's things that are beyond my control. I didn't build the engine. I didn't make it. You know, at some point I'm hoping maybe to get a DOD delete on this truck. That is the only way to completely prevent it. But you could still have an engine failure even with engines without this technology. It's happened. There's been 5.3 Vortex that have failed. LS engines that have failed. 5.7s. They had 6.5 liters that were bad, the diesel engines before the Duramax. They've had Duramaxes break crankshafts off and everything. I mean, it can happen to any vehicle. The Caterpillars I work on, C15s, they're notorious for the oil fill tube, fill port, the cap on it, somehow creating pressure and blowing it off. If it's not tightened, even if it is tightened, it can still blow off. It hadn't happened on ours. They have an updated version of the caps and all. You just got to know the downsides and the weaknesses and the weak points of your vehicle and know what to expect. If I get another truck, a newer version of this, you know, I know they have issues with the 10 speeds and all that. I'll do my best to prevent it, you know. Changing the fluids at the severe service is the easiest way to prevent major issues. You know, intake manifold gaskets. The 5.3s, whether it's LS or whatever, I've had to put new bolts in those manifolds, exhaust manifolds, because they break. I don't know what it is. It's always been there since at least the year 2000, probably further back. As far as I can remember, the 5.3s especially have always had that problem. I don't know what it is. It's just always been a thing. Eventually I like to get shorty hitters. I know. Long tubes. I don't need the sound. I don't need the high-end performance. I tow with this truck. I haul with this truck. I need it more on the low end. Shorties will help with that. And it'll prevent some of those problems with the bolts if I get a quality one. Crooks, whoever it might be. We'll see. But I do have an intake upgrade I want to do. And the reason isn't for any huge upgrades or more air. It's because I'm going to do a throttle body upgrade, a MAF sensor upgrade, and I'm going to clean this up and make it easier to see other stuff, because this gets in the way of seeing, you know, the serpentine belt and other pulleys and tensioners and everything else going on, or any other leaks. I have to take this off to really look at it. And I have a washable filter. I won't have to change this filter. I'll just have to wash it and put it back in after it's dry. And I can keep running the truck. It's going to be a dry, washable filter. So, and it's going to be a closed box. It's going to be a better design than this. See this? This is getting kind of, you know, it's foam. Do you think this is going to last forever? It's not. It's going to break down, degrade. The new intake will have a rubber seal, synthetic rubber seal. It'll just last longer. It's got a lifetime warranty, and it'll just, sometimes it's just better looks and ease of mind. And it cleans this up to where I can see other stuff easier without having to take this off every time I want to see something, or I think I see something and I need to see it better. I have to take this off because it's in the way. And all that's for is for noise pollution, which if you have a V8, when you really care about noise pollution. But you got a lot of people buying these trucks as daily drivers that never tow a trailer, never haul anything in it, any dirt or anything, never go off-road for any reason, hunting, whatever. And they just want to use it because it's a bigger truck and it looks cool and everything else. You know, I love driving a truck. It's safer. It gives me peace of mind. If I get into an accident, I have a better chance of coming out of that with less severe injuries or death. But if a tractor trailer hits me, I'm screwed. It don't matter what. If a bigger weight vehicle and a heavier vehicle and taller than you, you're going to lose that battle. That's why you have to be a defensive driver. That's why you have to keep your head on a swivel. But some vehicles just have known problems. And if you buy that, you have to be aware of that. Ford has plenty of issues. Dodge has plenty of issues. But there's Dodges and Fords on the road with hundreds of thousands of miles. Because their people they do it themselves. Or you find somebody you trust, an independent mechanic. Or if you can find one, a dealer that does a great job and has a great reputation with service. And sometimes you have to pay a little bit more for that. But at the end of the day, do you want to pay $1,000 or $1,500 now, or do you want to pay $50,000 for a new truck, $60,000, $70,000? The only reason I'm looking at a newer version of this is because there's some out there with extended warranties that are pre-certified, used, whatever, and they have low mileage, and the prices have come down significantly. But I'm still don't really want to, because this one's paid off. It doesn't owe me anything. Yeah, I'll have some stuff to do. Eventually I'm going to upgrade the torque converter. That is a weak point, but there was an issue that they didn't think about, and I think that was causing, no matter what, any transmission, no matter how good, even an Allison transmission, if it's running 200 something degrees daily, towing a lot and everything, even without towing, it's getting up to 200 degrees or more. Doesn't matter what you make those flex plates and all out of, it's going to break down and destroy itself. It can't take that kind of heat. They're not made to. There's no such thing as a bulletproof transmission when it comes to heat. Eventually I'm going to upgrade some of the suspension stuff on this, but we'll see. Yeah, I like to do different headlights, but it's a want, not a need. The needs are making sure this thing runs, making sure it's operable to tow when I need it to tow, and to haul stuff when I need it to haul, to get me to work, and to provide transportation, and the capability to tow and haul and do videos as well. That's a bonus. This is dirtier than I usually have it. It's been raining and just cold and hot and cold and hot. It'll calm down and I'll get it all cleaned up. But everything has its issues. If you're looking for the perfect vehicle, it's just not out there. When you manufacture something in the millions of vehicles a year, hundreds of thousands even, you're going to have issues. It's an inevitability. So unless you're prepared to trade in your vehicle every 5 years, you're just going to have to deal with them and accept it and budget for it. Don't buy the home that is way too big and you don't need. Have a spare vehicle. I have a Mercury and I'll have the pickup at some point. And there's other things we're trying to do and trying to sell to make contingencies for if stuff happens. And vote accordingly, because you vote for people who want to raise taxes and everything else. Well, I don't know what you're expecting. They're going to raise taxes. So, don't vote for people who just have their own interest. Vote for people that have the interest of the public. As I fail to close my hood. But this truck has been good to me. Hasn't had any major issues. It's had some dumb issues, but nothing that I couldn't handle or that the shop I have when I can't do it, or I just don't have time, or just sometimes you just don't feel like doing it because you're tired from a 10-hour day, 12-hour day, and other stuff, and you just want to enjoy time with your family. I trust them to do it. I have a spare vehicle now, so it doesn't hurt me necessarily. And I save money. I don't go out to eat all the time. Very conscious on my spending habits and getting more conscious every day. And that's why this channel hasn't maybe grown, because I'm not willing to just throw out big time builds and stuff and pay weekly or pay monthly. I try to save up in my truck fund to do things for the channel, and when I have a repair that needs to be done to a truck and I just don't have time to do it, or the shop that I have can actually do it cheaper, it's more easy for them to do it, and they have a backing to do it, and it's cheaper, and then I don't have to be out here in the weather doing it, or tie up my shop and move stuff around to do it, and be an inconvenience. So, you know, sometimes you can't do everything. So that's why mechanics and everything are important, and training them and having the right ones and guys that want to do it. There's got to be incentive there, and it's not an appreciated job until it's something breaks, and then it's, oh, I need to go. Well, okay. There's an instance on a truck we got, and doing a routine service and all, and the other guy had said, oh, it's fine, nothing's wrong and all, you know, but the ABS light was on. I'm like, okay. So I checked it. I put the pry bar under the wheel and the tire, jacked it up with a bottle jack, and guess what? It's wobbling and bouncing like a mother humper. It's toast. Oh, tighten it up. Okay. Take the wheel off. Unscrew the oil port where you fill the oil fill port on the wheel hub. The oil comes out of it into the little catch pan I had, and it's silver, so it's metallic, so it's done. The hub's done. Went through all that, and then guess what? Like I said, it's done. So it is what it is. You know, when it's got to be replaced, it's got to be replaced. The days of, for the most part, packing wheel grease and all that, nobody wants to do that anymore. Manufacturers don't want that because they know it's more incentive to make them more money. So it is what it is. And all the electronics and more electronics, electric vehicles, no thank you, not going to happen. But look, I'm not going to go firebomb Tesla. That's stupid. Same people who are all supporting him the last couple years, now he goes to the other side and disagrees with you. Oh my God, he's bad and he's evil. Well, we got to destroy it. Okay, that's stupid. And I'm not for it. I don't like electric vehicles, but I don't hate anybody who has one. If you want to buy a Tesla, buy a Tesla. Enjoy it. If that's your thing and you want to take on that responsibility and deal with the issues that are going to come with that, so be it. It's your money. Do as you wish. That's why this is a free country. But if you want to go out and buy an old diesel and resurrect it and build it and drive it, you should have the right to do that as well. That's just the way it is. Too many complainers, not enough doers, not enough people who want to do, let alone can do. Anybody can do anything they want. But everybody wants to go to college. The trades have been demolished over the years. Everybody wants to be a plumber, and everybody thinks it's a crap job. It's a great job. It's a skill that you can't have taken away. I can't tell you how important plumbers, AC people, heating people, just all these people, electricians and everything are so important. And this country has demonized, mechanics working on vehicles. They've demonized it, and they're trying to make things more complicated so people can't do it themselves. And that's sad. This country used to be all about weekend DIYers, and it seems to be coming back. I hope it is. I love to see those channels. I watch a lot of those channels. Ford Boss Me is a great channel. You know, he has a lot of great information. He's a great mechanic. But then people bash him. Oh, my vehicle's going this many miles without doing it. That's fine. You want to do that? You do that. But don't be mad at people who try to do preventive maintenance. I'm going to do a video series shortly on whether it's Walmart, Advance, AutoZone, local parts stores, whatever, where you can get oil and everything and do it cheaper than the lube shops. And if you don't, but the thing is, if you're not comfortable doing it, find somebody who is and get them to do it. Just make sure it's done right. And be aware of how to check it, that it's done right. That's all. Not everybody's comfortable with jacking their vehicle up. Not everybody's comfortable with turning a wrench. Not everybody's comfortable with getting fluids on their hands or grease or torquing things or doing things to spec or whatever. And that's fine. It can be tiring. It can be demanding. But if you feel like you can and you want to, then do it. It's going to benefit you. It's going to benefit your vehicle. It's going to benefit your wallet. A lot of people are like, oh, the dealership won't cut. As long as you used everything that's specified and you do it right and you have proof, there's nothing they can do. To void your warranty, they have to have proof. So just remember that, guys. If you like the video, like, subscribe, comment, share, and notifications. Once we hit 100, doing a free giveaway. So can't wait for that. Love y'all. Enjoy your vehicles. Peace out.